There's a battle brewing north of the border, and Donald Trump is losing it with Prime Minister Trudeau, and Trudeau is firing back and reminding Donald Trump and the American people that they will lose a trade and tariff war badly, and it will result in higher prices, the exact thing that Donald Trump told the American people he was not going to do. He was going to lower prices, not raise them. But Trudeau is reminding the world of the importance strategically of Canada to the United States in both as a trading partner on strategic minerals, on energy, on electricity, and everything else that makes the American economy go. And now Donald Trump is trolling Trudeau by calling him Governor Trudeau and calling our Canadian neighbors a 51st state. I'm Michael Popok. You heard me right. I'm on the MeidasTouch Network and Legal AF. It started out reasonably calmly with Prime Minister Trudeau going down for the required meeting at Mar-a-Lago to meet with Donald Trump after the 25% tariff was announced, try to talk him out of it. There's a picture sitting around the table there of Trudeau smiling with others. However, what really was going on behind the scenes was Trudeau was reminding Donald Trump in pointed language of the importance of Canada to the American economy. 65% of crude oil imported into the United States comes from Canada. 85% of imported electricity comes from Canada. The number one producer and exporter to the United States of steel, aluminum, uranium, and 34 other minerals, which the Pentagon has deemed to be strategic, comes from our neighbors to the north. So when Prime Minister Trudeau looked the American people in the eye and told them something that the president coming in would never tell them, which is, you want to battle with me? You want to battle in a trade war with me? It's just going to lead to much higher prices. I mean, we have trade relations with Mexico, obviously, but the strategic role and the strategic value of our relationship with Canada can't be underestimated. Sure, there's a small $75 billion trade deficit, but that's mainly because Canada sells to us kind of very expensive things, right? They're not selling, as my grandmother would say, tchotchkes. They're selling electricity. They're selling petroleum. They're selling things that have a high price tag right now, especially since COVID. And so sure, there is an imbalance. But for Donald Trump to say to the American people, I'm going to get into a trade war and I'm definitely going to raise your prices as a result, which he just told Kristen Welker when he was being interviewed this past Sunday, Trump did, to then lie to the American people and say, well, one of the reasons is I'm trying to stop the fentanyl epidemic from coming across the Canadian border and migrants, undocumented, from coming through Canada. Now, look, I could see the argument barely with Mexico, but Canada, you want to hear the fentanyl dilemma or the fentanyl crisis at the Canadian border? 43 pounds of fentanyl were found in Canada. That compares to, just to be clear here, that compares to 21,000 pounds of fentanyl at the Mexican border. I mean, I wasn't a math major, but I know that 43 is less than 21,000 pounds. In terms of the undocumented issues, the interactions between border control and undocumented at the Canadian border was 23,000 undocumented the past year. Mexico, 1.5 million. Okay, so this is all a ruse. And I love the fact that Trudeau, and I gave him a little criticism, that Trudeau is firing back. And again, standing at a podium and telling the American people that which Donald Trump refuses to tell them, that we will get crushed in a trade war with Canada. We don't want to buy that relationship. And all we're doing, and all Trump is doing, is pushing our allies, not our adversaries, our allies into economic pacts together without us in order to plan for the day when the United States goes completely crazy under Donald Trump's control. That's why the European Union is combining with Canada, which is combining with elements of South America and even Africa to create trading organizations to cut out the United States. That's what's going to happen in Donald Trump's economy. And Trudeau, I'm going to, credit where credit is due. This episode of Legal AF is brought to you by Wild Grain. This holiday, Treat yourself and your loved ones to fresh baked deliciousness. Wild Grain's new fall and winter pastries are here. But don't wait, because once they sell out, they'll be gone for the year. If you're not familiar with Wild Grain, it's the first baked from frozen subscription box for artisanal breads, pastries, and pastas. Wild Grain's boxes are fully customizable to your taste and dietary restrictions. In addition to their classic variety box, they recently launched a new gluten-free box and a plant-based box that is 100% vegan. Best of all, they take the hassle out of baking, since all items bake from frozen in 25 minutes or less with no mess or cleanup. Listen, my family and I fell in love with the New England apple cider donuts and artisanal Bavarian pretzels. Perfectly homey for the fall and football season, and with natural ingredients to boot. We love that it's freezer to table in just under 25 minutes and gives the house that "is grandma here and baking fresh bread again" homey smell that brings us back to our best childhood memories. Wild Grain will definitely be a big contributor to our Thanksgiving table this year and is ready to join us as a special treat when we visit friends and family for the holidays. Impress your guests with minimal effort this holiday season. Wild Grain is offering our listeners $30 off the first box, plus a free item in every box when you go to wildgrain.com/legalaf. You heard me. You can now get $30 off your first customized box when you go to wildgrain.com/legalaf, or you can use promo code legalaf at checkout. I mean, one of the reasons I'm sure he went down to meet and have dinner with Trump was because of he's going to be hosting a large trade conference when Trump's president. And the last time he hosted that trade conference, when early in his prime minister tenure, Trump famously huffed out and sucked out all the oxygen and all of the attention and walked out the door with him. And I don't think he wanted that to happen again. But again, it's from a position of tremendous strength for Canada. I wouldn't want to F with our major trading partner in petroleum, electricity, 34 minerals, uranium, steel, and aluminum. I mean, only a madman like Donald Trump would think that's a proper economic and trade policy. And so for Donald Trump to, in the middle of the night, troll Canada again with an insulting reference to Governor Trudeau in the 51st state, not making any new friends in Canada, are we, Trump? And just pissing off Trudeau. Now, apparently that was a joke he made during that dinner. We have a photo of it during that dinner. One of my favorite parts of that dinner, by the way, is the kid behind the photo. Maybe he was responding to that comment. Look at the kid who is photobombing Donald Trump right behind that photo. But F Trump. But all that's doing is roiling the markets and creating a price pressure that's going to nail the American economy and the American consumer. I thought that's the reason people voted for Trump. They were worried about, and rightly so, the economy and their kitchen table economics, how much rent costs, how much mortgages cost, how much eggs cost, and food and gas. I get it. But I didn't realize that going into a trade war with Canada and making our electricity go through the roof, which I don't need to tell you, powers everything. Petroleum powers everything. Aluminum and steel for building and construction and fabrication and all of that. I didn't think that was a good thing. I thought that was a bad thing. I mean, I minored in economics in college, but I sort of get it. So, fist bump to Prime Minister Trudeau. Don't be trolled. Sorry to our Canadian neighbors, because we have an immature, infantile person who's demented, who's about to enter the White House and will be leading our economic policy. Ignore him. We're trying to, where we can. And please don't be tempted and don't be goaded into a trade war with us. Back about 15 years ago, we entered into a trade war with Canada, but all we did was put a lot of tax on yogurt. Now we're talking about power, literally power, uranium, things that make the American economy go. And I don't want I don't want it to leave the American economy. I want it to be powered. We need close relationships with Mexico. We need close relationships with Canada. We need to have a very strong North American free trade agreement. But these are the things that Donald Trump is against. So if people are just waking up now thinking, God, that's who I voted for. That's what I voted for. And people like Prime Minister Trudeau are looking you in the eye and saying, yes. Yes, and if you can do something about it, start doing something about it at the Congress level. Start doing something about it at the midterm level. We're one day closer to the midterms and being able to restructure this economy. Shout out to Prime Minister Trudeau and to our Canadian friends. Don't be trolled. We barely pay attention to Donald Trump. You shouldn't. Certainly don't enter into a trade war with us, please. And so until my next reporting, I got a great show on MeidasTouch Network, 8 p.m. Eastern Time on this MeidasTouch YouTube channel called Popok Live at the intersection of law and politics. MeidasTouch, free subscribe here. We got a new Legal AF YouTube channel. It's only a couple of months old. We're already up about 350,000 subscribers with your help, growing that pro-democracy channel. And then, of course, Legal AF, our podcast full length on Wednesdays and Saturdays at 8 p.m. Eastern Time. So until my next Legal AF reporting, no matter where it may be, I'm Michael Popok. In collaboration with the MeidasTouch Network, we just launched the Legal AF YouTube channel. Help us build this pro-democracy channel where I'll be curating the top stories at the intersection of law and politics. Go to YouTube now and free subscribe at Legal AF MTN. That's at Legal AF MTN.